Boom! I love saying boom. Welcome back, Master Debaters. We are back for another episode. I don't know what the hell Deon is doing, but we are here. My name is Sidney Smith. If you are brand new to the show after 3 years of us doing this show, this is my brother and co-host Deon Curry sitting by my side. We got a fun show. Thank you everybody on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart, and etc. Shout out to our people on YouTube. And major love to our folks who join us each and every week right here on Facebook Live. If you're just jumping in with us right now, before we get anything else going, please click that share button. That's the freest thing that you can do concerning this podcast is click that share button. So do that for us if you don't mind. We would appreciate it. Mary is with us. She's hi guys and happy show anniversary. Mary, is it an anniversary? Is it an anniversary? Is it for you with us, or did we miss something? Let us know. Danielle Marie says, hey, 3 shows in a row, guys. I'm naming records now. Danielle, if you could show up like this, you could always name records. You keep coming. One of my favorite people on the planet, Miss Danielle Marie. Deon, bro, what's good, man? What's happening? What's going on in your world?
Happy Monday. I'm so excited to be here with you and our fellow master debaters, whether you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook Live, listen to the podcast when it drops on all the podcast outlets. Oh, what a weekend we had, ladies and gentlemen, and what a show we've got in store for you. When you try it in a small town, baby, woo-wee, is it a beautiful thing? Let me tell you, I am jazzed. You hear me? I'm jazzed.
Look, man.
I'm Duke Ellington. I'm so jazzed.
Okay, take it easy, buddy. I ain't never seen you touch a piano. Look,
you can feel it all over.
I got a few topics in front of me on my whiteboard that 2 of them I know we said we want to discuss for sure. I'm not even sure if we're going to get to the second one, to be honest with you. But we'll see where the master debaters take us, and we'll see where Deon takes us. Deon, anything coming up for the folks out there? Anything you got coming? Anything you want to plug?
I'm doing Indiana's Funniest tomorrow and Wednesday. And that's it.
All right, folks, if you're out there in that Indiana market, if you're checking us out, podcast, YouTube, or right now, go see my boy Deon. Go check him out. He will be up there cracking people up. I don't have anything I really want to push right now. Maybe later this week I'll have something, but nothing right now. Bruce is with us. He said, good evening, gents. What's up, Bruce? Thanks for jumping in. We appreciate you. Long time, brother. Like a whole week since I talked to you. All right, let me take a deep breath and get into this first one. We had the Alabama Brawl that happened in a small town of Montgomery, Alabama. When I first saw the video, all right, let me just say this for people who haven't seen it. There was a brawl that took place. As I understand the story, and anybody out there who has different news, let us know. A black, and I'm only bringing up color because it matters in this story, a black security guard told a pontoon boat full of white folks they need to move because a larger vessel was coming and needed to dock. The folks on the pontoon boat were bothered by this for whatever reason, attacked the security guard. Men and women attacked the security guard. Later clips that show more of the story of what happened shows a very large river-style boat pull up to the dock, and black people came off in droves and beat the dog shit out of all of these white folks, men and women, till the cops showed up. Before we get into it, I do want to say this. I'm glad I got to see the entire thing because the first clip I saw just showed the brother swimming in the water, and I'm trying to figure where this motherfucker coming from that he's swimming in the water trying to come to the rescue. I got to see from the riverboat. So, Deon, I want you to jump in here because I know you chomping at the bit. But before we do, I want to say hello to Aaliyah Craig, who says, don't try that in a small town. And Carla is with us. She says, hello, guys. What up, Carla?
What up, Carla?
Take it away, bro.
Oh, when I tell you I woke up with joy in my spirit from the 11:30 a.m. until this point on, I have been engrossed in this shenanigans of try that in small town, the Montgomery Brawl, the memes, the videos, the different camera angles, the TikToks, and the Instagrams that I have seen of the coverage of this is just phenomenal. To start, I do not condone violence, okay? But I do condone justice. And what those people got were justice, okay? You don't, what's the saying? You fuck around, you find out. And well, guess who fucked around and found out? The dock worker slash security guard told them, hey, we need the space. I need you to move your boat. He didn't tell you you had to go home. He didn't tell you that you needed to never come back. He just said, hey, man, I need this area. So I need you to untie your boat, get on it, move it, so that this big ass slave ship Willie Harriet boat, this steam tugboat, can park right here. And obviously, the owner of the boat had issues with that. They had been drinking all day. The owner of this mini mart owned this boat. We got to get into people going to that Facebook page later on.
Oh, so he's the owner of a mini mart.
He owned a mini mart, yes.
Okay, all right.
And it had 4-star reviews until yesterday. But he told him to move. The guy didn't like it. Obviously, there was conversations being had. And then one of the guys just swings on the black security guard, and then he takes his hat off, gives it a nice hurrah. I would do that, but I need a haircut, and that don't happen until Thursday. So you're just going to have to imagine me taking my hat off, throwing it up in the air. Plus, I don't want a bunch of niggas showing up in my room trying to fight on my behalf. There's not a lot of space in here. So obviously, the brawl kicks off, right? But if the very first video, the people on the boat that needs to be docked are telling the man, they're shouting at him, hey, you need to move.
Yeah.
At one point, a group of black people started singing Ludacris's Move, Bitch, Get Out the Way, which I thought was just poetic. Black people love to have a good time. Obviously, once the fight broke out, the kid that jumped in the water was only 16 years old. And to me, like, part of me is proud of him, but another part of me is like, yo, man, I don't know how I feel about kids getting involved in grown folk business. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where
I'm with you because had a gun been pulled, he could be in some serious jeopardy. So I'm with you. Though I commend him, I think Slim called him Aquaman. He says, can we talk about Aquaman? Laugh my black ass off. So
I'm Aquaman. It's Aquaman. I need that microphone.
Candyman. Look,
Candyman.
I talked to my mom about this, and you and she, I'm sure, are going to have the same viewpoint. I said to her, because I told her about it, she hadn't seen it. I sent her the clips. I sent the clips to everybody I could. And said, you got to see this shit. I said, I cannot believe in 2023. Now, I know the South is the South, but Montgomery, Alabama is not some backwoods of Alabama or any other in Mississippi. I cannot believe they jumped off a pontoon boat and thought all of them, men and women, were going to beat up this black dude in 2023 without any repercussions, whether it be an ass whooping or law enforcement. I was a little surprised by that, Deon.
What country have you been living? Why would you, especially down in the South?
I just told you what.
Well, I don't know what country you live in, because the country I live in, I'm not surprised by this at all. If anything, I'm shocked that nobody got arrested. You know, they
did get arrested.
Quote, they arrested them, but they let them all go. Everybody's free. There was no bail. There's no
white and black.
Yes, everybody's out. It's one of those things where nobody's pressing charges. So,
hold on. Now, see, this is some bullshit. Had it been a bunch of Negroes down there beating the hell out of each other, everybody is getting arrested and everybody is getting charged. Now, I will say this. One of my favorite things, and I'm with you, I do not condone violence unless you push me to that point, then all bets are off. But them white women were whooping on that black man. And I have a serious rule when it comes to women hitting men. You want to be treated like a woman, stay in a woman's place. So that really angered me. So when I saw them people come off and whoop everybody's ass, that I found pleasure in that.
I always tell people, it don't matter if you're a man or a woman. A fight is a fight. You start a fight, don't get mad if you lose the fight. If you are a woman and you put your hands on a man and he decides to hit you back, guess what? That's what fights are. You get hit in fights. Now, if he just comes home drunk and starts putting his hands on you, that's not a fight. That's domestic violence. But if you put your hands on somebody and they return the favor in kind, I don't want to hear, I'm a woman, you're not supposed to do that. Because if you was a woman, you should know you ain't supposed to do that. Because clearly, if you can't win, you shouldn't be starting shit. And this whole situation is a perfect example of why you shouldn't start shit that you can't finish. I don't know what those white people were thinking. There was only 9 of them.
Well, they just see the boat of black dudes getting ready to dock.
Well, and it wasn't like that boat was completely black people. You notice there was not a single white person that hopped off that boat to help them. Nobody came to their aid except for the police. And even then, the police were being extremely lazy with the security.
They were just walking through, just kind of lightly waving people back.
They might as well have been lifeguards, no running in the pool. That's the way they were attacking the situation.
Now, let's be fair. If you were a white person on that riverboat and saw what was happening to the white people of that pontoon, are you coming to the rescue? No, you are not. Whatever's happening to you on your own.
Look, if I believe what they believe, possibly.
Look, I'm gonna tell you how the white people in the boat played the white people who were getting their ass whooped. Like my man, like the dad on Friday when Red got knocked the fuck out and ran up on Zeus. No, he kicked him in the feet. Get your ass up, boy! We're out here fucking around with these people. I think Aaliyah's taking exception to something I said. She said, "Stay in a woman's place." Damn. Question marks on both ends of that. Aaliyah, when I say stay in a woman's place, I mean stay in a woman's place in terms of dealing with the man and trying to put your hands on him and be violent. There's no reason for a woman, unless your life is in jeopardy, for you to be putting your hands on another man in any circumstance at all. So when I say stay in a woman's place, I mean stay in a woman's place. Unless you are triple black belt in judo and jujitsu and whatnot, and you feel comfortable, you can go out here and whoop a man's ass, and what comes is what comes, feel free. Most often than not, I don't think that's going to be the circumstance. So yes, if you do not want a man to put his hands on you, put your hands in your pockets. So that's what I mean by staying in a woman's place. I'm not saying women got to be barefoot and pregnant and you can't get jobs and I expect you to go ahead and do the laundry down by the river beating it on rocks. That's not what I'm saying.
Down by the river.
not in this small town at least. All right. that was the absolute best. Aaliyah says, I can agree. Thank you, Aaliyah. See, I knew your second week you and I would vibe. I knew the first time you came, we was on Rocky Roads. You weren't quite figuring out how the show works, but you seemed to be getting it. So thanks for coming back, Aaliyah.
Look, man, if you put your hands on somebody else, whatever they deem is necessary is what they deem necessary. And if you started it, hey, whatever happens to you, happens to you. I will say this. I do not condone those chair shots to that woman that was laying down from that old black man. That was the only part of the situation where I was like, that was too far. Everything else, I have no problem with. But he ain't had to hit that old white lady in the head with the chair like he did. Like that, that to me was just, come on, bro.
Well,
she ain't do nothing to you. She wasn't hurt. She was already on the ground.
But that's why I can't believe no one caught a charge. Because I told you on the phone, I said, if anybody's doing some serious time, it's the WWE dude in the back waiting around.
Yeah, the chairman of the board should have.
Chairman of the board.
Hey, if they press charges, he would be the only person I'd be like, yeah, he deserved whatever he gets, because you can't just go around whacking people with chairs. I don't care what they said or did. None of them people put their hands on you for you to be doing that. That to me was the only egregious part of it. The rest of it, hey, you asked for it.
So before I say this, hey folks, I want to remind you guys, be a part of the show. We want to hear from you. Aaliyah, we want to hear from you. Bruce, Slim, Danielle, keep comments coming. If you have something to say, we would love for you to be a part of the conversation. Deon, Yeah, I'm torn on what you said because you know me, and I'm a dude who does not mind violence if this is where we gonna take it. So if this is where we at, this is what we're doing. But at the same time, there's gonna be a judgment on that more often than not. And I still say if this has been a group of black people fighting and he's been throwing chairs around or hitting people with chairs, his ass has been in the shackles and taking his ass off to the prison. So I don't know. I mean, maybe he didn't have to hit the woman in the head, but she didn't have to be in the mix. Once you get in the mix, you in the mix.
But see, that was the thing. She was out of the mix. She was on the ground. There's a point of self-defense, and there's that threshold that, she was no threat to him. She was no threat to anybody else. And legally, that's where he would be in trouble because she was on the ground. She was defenseless, and he bonked her on the head like it was a Tom and Jerry cartoon. Like
He ain't put the chair in her neck.
I was just waiting for the little swell knots to come up out of her head like the cartoons used to do.
I was waiting for the Batman pals.
So every part of that situation with him with the chair, and he's old enough to know better. It wasn't like it was some young, Thundercat out there trying to get, just get his aggression out. That man has been around the block many a time. He done experienced some real racism down there in Montgomery. He swung that chair for his great granddaddy, and he played whack-a-mole with that old white lady's dome, and he was wrong for it, but I understand.
I'm sitting here picturing my man at the barbershop just getting his hair cut. They're having a conversation. Look, I'm telling y'all, let me be a part of some shit when it breaks up. I'm picking up a chair and I'm hitting. Hey, watch my ears. I am cracking the motherfucker with a folded chair. He lived out his dream, bro.
I tell you what it was. He had flashbacks of driving Miss Daisy, and he was like, "I got something for this bitch. Tell me take a seat. I got a seat for your ass."
Facebook user says, "Agreed. Men and women aren't equally physically. Period."
That's Dana.
Dana, thank you for watching, Dana. We appreciate you. Aaliyah says, "I think there was too much video footage for any side to press charges against the other." Aaliyah, you might be right. That's the other thing I told the Deon. I said, if y'all want to be good black people, put your phone away. Y'all out here recording everything so the prosecutors can go back and pick through and take months. Maybe Montgomery, Alabama doesn't have enough money to take all that time to go through video down there that is safe to everybody down there.
I can tell you how the trial's going to go. It's going to be a hung jury on each side because it's going to be one person in that jury of 12 to be like, I don't see no problems because I know if it was on me, I'd be like, I can't say he's guilty.
I'm picturing Samuel Jackson.
It's a mistrial every time.
I'm picturing Samuel Jackson in A Time to Kill. Yeah, they all deserve to be in a coma and they deserve to die. Just down everybody that's sweating. Matthew McConaughey down there in that sweaty ass weather.
Close your eyes.
Oh.
Close your eyes. Can you picture this? Jason Aldean is on stage at the courthouse singing about justice. And a white man takes a black chair and whacks an old white lady in the head. Can you see her? Can you see her?
Can you hear her crying?
No, open your eyes and look over there.
Can you see the Werthers flying out of her purse? all the mints. Deon, we lost him. We'll drop him off. I'll read some comments while we wait for him to come back up. Bruce says, I agree that if you are going to get mixed up in the fight and throw a punch, bring you back up. Oh, lost him again. Mic check.
I'm not hearing that go anymore.
You're not hearing it?
No.
Okay, maybe it's just on my end. Folks, let me know if you are hearing the echo at all, if you guys are out there. Let me know if you're hearing it. Okay, so Carla had a question.
We're at A Time to Kill. Go ahead.
Carla had a question here. It says, why did the security guard approach the situation by himself? Deon, you want to take that one?
Apparently, because he was the only guy on the dock at the time. From what I've read and I've seen of the clips and the tweets and all the coverage that I've seen, basically he had gone to them earlier and was like, "Hey, I need you guys to move the boat." They said that they would, and then they turned around and they didn't. So that's when he went back and was like, "Yo, I told you guys you need to move your boat because we got this big boat here that needs this space." So it was one of the situations where before anybody started recording, this is from just the stuff that I've read on Twitter. I don't know if it's true or not, but from what I've gathered was he told them when they first arrived that, hey, you guys can't leave your boat here. They said, oh, we're just going to go do something real quick. We're going to hop on the boat and take off. And he was like, okay, cool. Well, they took longer than they said they were. And then he was like, yo, I told you need to move your boat. They started getting lippy with him. So he went and he was going to move the boat himself. And that's when they all, being in having alcohol on the boat, they did what they did and how it all popped off from there.
And I don't want to say, and I'm assuming Carl is not trying to do this, but I don't want to question what the security guard was doing. I don't know what the staffing is like there where they were. And the question was simple. The response should have been simple. I think the question actually is, why did you get off a pontoon boat, men and women, middle-aged? You're not even young people. You're not in your 20s. You're not in your teens. You all look like you're middle-aged or better and think you can just attack an individual of any color.
Hey, slow down, okay? Boys will be boys, okay?
And girls will be girls?
Let's take some time to think about the upbringing that these people, the trauma that they've gone through, okay? We can't just characterize them as thugs because of one situation that they've been through in their lives, okay? We don't know what their upbringing was like, okay? I don't want you going doing background checks on their criminal history, making these people out to be you see all the bullshit that they're going to say when there's white people involved. Now, had this situation been reversed and, 9 niggas beat up one white dude and then a bunch of white people came in defense, I can only imagine the talking heads and the crap that they would say and how these people were thugs, this, that, and the third. It's just one of those things where when you ask questions like that, the whataboutisms, just they lead down a stupid path that we don't need to go down to. If he was the only security guard working there, he was the only security guard working there. It doesn't matter. They shouldn't. The fact of the matter is they knew they weren't supposed to be there. They know they needed to move, and they chose violence instead. So everything that popped off after that was their own creation. Frankenstein's monster. I'm sorry.
I want to remind you guys to click that share button and be a part of the conversation. Carla, thank you for the question. It was a good question as well. I want to go back to what Aaliyah said, because I think this is where we're at before. I think there was too much video footage for any side to press charges against the other. Deon, how much of that do you think played a role in them not pressing charges against anyone?
That's a load of crap. They could press charges all day long. We all watched it. We all saw crime there. So footage or no footage, the defense becomes, well, at what point did the initial offenders become victims? That would be what they would argue in court. It's like, oh, they might have started it, but then X number of people instigated it further, and that's why those people need to be charged. Because if you watch the very beginning of the video, the situation was diffused. Like, the original security guard got hemmed up by a police officer, and the guys he was tussling with were separated. It wasn't until some other random dude came down and started fucking with people that this brawl really kicked off. So if you wanted to press charges, you could. There's lots of things to charge people there with. Aggravated assault with fucking a chair, swimming, jumping into a brawl. Like, there's like all of that stuff you could criminalize if you wanted to.
Yeah, I do think, and I think that Aaliyah has a great point. I do think the video makes it tough, and I think it makes it tough because of the initial actions. And again, I'm saying that, and people are going to disagree with me, but I'm saying that because I do believe if the roles had been reversed and it had been initiated by black people onto a white security guard, there would be some charges being pressed. Well, if it had been all black people in a brawl, there would have been some charges pressed. So
to say we're just sitting here. It's 2 days later. There still could be charges filed.
could
I'm
be,
just saying, as of this moment, none of the people involved are in jail. So everybody,
which is weird because normally you're going straight to jail unless you got bailed out. Now, according to you, no jail, no bail. Now that's
just that is just coming from what I've seen on Twitter. I'm not the official spokesperson of this.
that's exactly who you are.
No.
That's how I introduced you. Don't try to back out of your role now.
No. I'm just saying I could be wrong as of this podcast, and when you hear this on Thursday, that could all change.
You're
But
supposed to be.
as of this moment, what I know is that nobody's in jail, and that I don't think any charges have been filed as of this moment. That's not to say that they won't. I think there should be.
If anybody out there can correct
guard,
us,
I
who
would
can jump on
definitely-
and correct us and let us know, do you see anything? Because you're supposed to be in a tie and a collar shirt, by the way, Deon. How you supposed to come over here as an expert? Good enough. That'll pass. Facebook user says, when you return the same energy and level of aggression they give us, then they play the victim. And I did see that with
That
one
was
of
Roxy.
with a couple of the women. When the cops showed up, all of a sudden they were in tears, and I was like, no. You were throwing blows like it was all good. I see. Go ahead.
It's one of those things. If you kind of brought this up earlier, the mindset of those 9 people versus that one guy, not realizing the grander scheme of all of those black people out there. Like, what do you think was clearly in their minds? They thought there would be no repercussions. They thought that they would be able to get away with manhandling the security guard, teaching him a lesson, and that would be the end of it. What they found out was that it's 2023, and those times of turning the other cheek, people are tired of that. And so, they had to defend themselves. And when it came time to defend themselves, they wanted to play the victims and act like, oh, I can't believe these people are really upset. Like, why are you beating me? Why are we doing this? I'm like, no, you started it, stand in it, deal with it, and then move on. They're talking about, why are you canceling my business? What do you mean, why am I canceling your business? You went above and beyond for no reason.
We are in 2000.
These are the it's the consequences of your actions.
We are in 2023. If you have not caught on now that when you do some shit and the internet picks it up, people will go and ruin you. Ruin you. You see the black guy who does all the videos when he's fishing in his own pond in his subdivision,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the women who walked up on him, she got fired from her job.
Mm-hmm.
And then he dropped a video of the president of the HOA. Hey, you think you could put a video out saying it was a misunderstanding? She lost her job. Now she can't make her mortgage. And he's just like, yo, that's her problem. That's not my problem.
I was minding my own business, like y'all all should be doing, like everybody should be doing, minding your own business, right? You risked your job to harass somebody because you didn't understand the situation. Asking the man if he lived there, he don't got to answer to you. If you think there's an issue, you call the people who are supposed to handle it, which is the police. The police show up. He say, I live here. That's the end of the story. But at the end of the day, even if he didn't live there, he's fishing. He ain't hurt nobody. You wasn't going to catch them fish. Why are you bothering that man?
When I drive through my neighborhood and someone is sitting at one of the little man-made lakes fishing, I do not pull my car over and ask for ID. I don't say, do you live in this neighborhood? I do. It's none of my business. And I have more important things to do. And I hope for the remainder of my time, at least 50 years on this planet, that I will always have other things to do than to walk up on you and ask you, why are you trying to get this free fish that I don't want?
It's one of those things where people, there's a time and place for everything. Like, I applaud the people who jumped in to help protect that security guard, right? Mm-hmm. That's the time and a place for you to be like, yo, this is not a good time to mind my own business. Let me go find out what's going on. Like the little kid, even though he was a kid, it was courageous of what he did. I only worry because he was a child, the fact that he jumped in that water and swam over. I don't know what's in that water. I don't know if that water's clean. That's why all the other black people waited till the boat pulled up. You ain't get in that water.
You have to worry about that. His mom ain't letting him come into that house and he rinsed off that when that hole was in the backyard. So you have to wear whatever's on him is gonna be off.
What I tell you about swimming in your school clothes?
These school clothes. Just got you these Jordans, Tyrone. Just got you. All right. 2 words: mutual combat that may have gone out the window when the chair entered the picture. And you're absolutely right. I'm not who said it. Is that Roxy again? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But at the same time, Roxy, when I go. So that's why I can see it. And plus, like I said, I do believe my man sat in the barbershop chair one time and thought about what he was going to do ever he got the opportunity. He got it. Okay, but you know what? Let me give an applause break to the white dude who kept taking the chair to the head, but never failed. That dude took 3 shots to the top of his dome and never hit the ground. Never hit the ground.
I love with this incident, I found out who patented the folding chair. I didn't know it was a black man, but leave it to a mini race riot to introduce Black history.
History. Michelle Martin's with us. What's up, Michelle? I'm glad you jumped in here. Thank you for everybody letting me know there's no echo. Appreciate you. Facebook user says he should be able to approach them by himself. Like, what the fuck? You goddamn hillbillies, just move. Who is that?
That was Dana.
Dana, that is so good. He should be able. He is the security guard on the river. He's not expecting them to be trafficking bodies and drugs, and for anybody to jump off a pontoon boat all red from being in the sun and drinking all day and try to attack. I want to know what they had in that cooler. What in that cooler makes you trip out like that to where you go attack someone?
I can tell you, it wasn't White Claw.
It was
Sponsor the show, please.
It was some natty lights. Oh, they had to be doing some shots of Fireball all day or something. What the hell makes you do that?
I love from several of the video angles, you can see the look on their faces when they realize that they made a grave error in judgment. Like, there's so many shots where he, like, when the black guy starts skipping towards the pontoon boat,
take his shirt off.
The white girl in the boat's like, oh shit, let's get out of here. She trying to unhook the rope. And the young white kid is like, wait a minute, let's talk about this civilly. Slap. And it's like, you know.
I tell you what's gonna happen on Monday. They train that pontoon boat there for a speedboat. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today about it. He said, I never understand why they take their shirts off. I said, you ain't got to understand it. All you got to know is when a big brother's coming your way taking his shirt off, you about to have a bad day. That's a brother who loves to fight.
There were those black gentlemen were looking for trouble, as they say. They were skipping toward an ass whooping, which means they were ready. The one kid was pulling up his pants. I'm like, I'm about to punch somebody. Etiquette if I've ever seen it.
Absolutely.
Like, there's a point where this whole situation could have been avoided. And it's at the very beginning when he told him, hey, just move your fucking boat. That's all you had to do. There were 9 of y'all on the boat, okay? How many people does it take to move a boat? 1, 2, 7 of y'all get off, do what you got to do. The other 2 stay on the boat, move it on up, and go back to what you was doing. There was literally no reason to get your ass whooped by half a town and become Facebook martyrs, where you got to put your business on private like, you did this to yourself.
Oh,
I loved it, to be honest with you. I really did love, just because it brought out the best of Black Twitter. I mean, the amount of creativity that exploded within 2 days. I'm
laughing because when black people go to do something, we always got to have a new, fresh outfit. So I know my man pulled that shirt off. Like, yo, you ain't about to get that blood on this shirt. I just got this bitch yesterday. So Royce says, y'all talking about the Battle of Montgomery? Yes, we are talking about the Battle of Montgomery. Facebook user says there was no initial situation. He was doing his job. They were intoxicated and out of line. 100%. Roxy. Aaliyah Craig says they should have Leah, you gotta keep coming. You gotta keep coming watching this. You gotta keep coming back, bro. You get a trifecta for that one. They should have just complied. You're right about that. I should put that on a t-shirt. All right. Facebook user says, hey guys. Hello, person.
That's Crystal Miller. What's up, Crystal?
Mary says, does anyone know if Alabama has DUI laws in place for boats? I'm not where I can look it up. I would imagine that they do.
Yes.
Mary. Okay.
All states have DUI laws for boats and cars.
Danielle says water spaces should always be public spaces. No one can claim ownership over water. Tell that to Coke and Pepsi Cola.
I was going to say, tell that to Nestle.
Which I think, does Nestle own Pepsi owns Nestle or Nestle owns Pepsi, right?
I have no idea. They're all conglomerate, I'm sure.
See, Michelle is on with us. What's up there, Michelle? Someone said this was indeed a historical event.
That was Crystal.
And Facebook user says, moonshine in the cooler.
Robert Scott Brock.
Robert, if there was some moonshine, I almost give you a pass. Because the moonshine will put your mind in some places you ain't never thought it would go.
Which is worse, moonshine or Everclear?
Moonshine.
Okay.
Everclear is bad, though. Everclear is bad.
I've been at some Everclear parties where I'm like, yeah, that's clearly just Everclear in their system. These guys are actually friends, but in the moment they are enemies.
I'm talking about moonshine that your uncle drove up from your great uncle's house down in Mississippi, down in the backwoods, back behind them trailers that none of you kids were about to go play.
I've never had that, thankfully.
Boy, whew. Mm-mm.
That 2,000 proof.
It's rough. Mary says, I disagree. If the water is in my yard or my neighborhood and I'm paying to keep it clean, stocked, whatever, I should be able to have a say who can access it. Mary, this is about to be our first fight. Mind your business. You don't get to walk up on people and say, do you live here? You don't get to do that, Mary. Why would you think you can walk up on someone because it's in your neighborhood and you pay for it? It's not yours personally. They're not in your backyard. I don't know why you would.
It's like the people who police the pool. Like, you know, there's been multiple incidences in Indianapolis where people have been friends of people who lived in an apartment building or condo, and you know they were upstairs getting dressed, and hey, I'm just gonna go down to the pool, and somebody who can't mind their own business, hey, I've never seen you here before. Do you live here? It's like, who are you to be policing? Like, if you're not the person in charge of the pool, which this person was not, mind your business. You know, if it'd be one thing if they are causing an issue, like if their presence there is creating a disturbance. That's a different situation than them just being there. If I'm just sitting here fishing, my music's not loud, I'm not littering, I'm not blowing fish up with fireworks, like I'm not being crazy. I'm literally just fishing. For what good does it bring for you to come and question me? It doesn't do anything.
Well, and here's the other thing. You just can't walk up on people, especially if you're not one of those people who's able to protect yourself physically. You don't have any heat on you. You can get shot, get your ass whooped. You just can't walk up on people asking them, do you live here? Are you allowed to be here? Show me your clipboard. You can't get out of here.
You can't walk up to Americans. You can do that in other countries.
Look, you can't walk up on me and ask me shit. I need to see.
Oh, I know.
Right. You need to back up and go find something to do. Aaliyah says, what happened to the other boat was supposed to come dock? That's the boat that all the black people came off on.
Yeah. They came. They just didn't come in the spot where they were supposed to. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, again, you could have avoided this entire situation by just, as Aaliyah said, complied. Move your boat. He asked you nicely. Then he told you. Then you found out.
Here's another person I love, Bruce. He's agreeing with Mary. He says, I agree. HOA fees go towards those ponds. Who cares? Why do you care who's fishing in the pond? Neither one of you explain to me what difference it makes to you who's fishing in that pond. I want to know. How does it interrupt your day? How does it bother you? Now,
Y'all should be mad. Y'all paying for the pond.
well, that's not necessarily true. I disagree with that. I'm just
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, what you need the pond for? If you're not fishing, why am I paying for it? Just because I live in this neighborhood? That's fucking stupid.
all right. We're gonna move on because now you
I don't like HOAs and their stupid rules. So you got to ask us if you can put a shed in your backyard. Fuck you. This is my property.
Why are you tripping about the HOA, man? I love my HOA.
I'm just saying. Y'all brought it up. To me, it's ridiculous. If you want to do something on your own property, that's your business. And the HOA can kick rocks with their stupid ass rules.
All right. Well, good thing you don't have to worry about it at the present time. You're over here just tripping. You're just losing your mind. Everybody losing their mind. Bruce and Mary losing their mind. You over here losing your mind about the HOA. I love to see the three of y'all as neighbors. I see you just go out there paint the fence a different color for no reason.
Find me. I'll see you in court. No, actually, I won't see you in court. I'm skipping court because fuck y'all.
Carla says it's boating etiquette. Bunch of angry white people would agree. Mary said I drove a pontoon boat at 10 years old. Not rocket science. Same, Mary. Absolutely same. And nothing ever happens on a pontoon boat other than illegal drinking. So it's the only thing that ever happens on a pontoon boat. That's why I knew they'd have some alcohol in them.
Can you imagine those guys owning a yacht?
Danielle says, if you put that on a shirt, I'll buy one. Bet.
I'm telling you, there was a guy who had his there was a guy who painted the scene of a guy smashing that old woman in the head with a chair. He painted that on a folding chair. Like the creativity happened just like that, just that fast.
Well, who says it? Is it DL that normally says it? The internet is undefeated?
Undefeated.
Like a bunch of people sitting around not doing anything and going at it. Mary says Everclear is controlled when it's made. Very good point, Mary. Slim says the Montgomery Sweet Tea Party is going to go down in the history, but it's going to be kept from the history books in school. LOL. What's up, Michelle? We just talking about history that was made, the Montgomery Sweet Tea Party. All right, we're going to move to our next topic soon, guys. Thanks for jumping in here with us. We appreciate it and letting us go on and on with this. Let's see. I live on a private lake. People will lose their shit if you don't have a parking pass. Get your ass off my lake. I don't care, but some old white person does.
That's Dana.
I agree. I live on a private golf course, and people will lose their minds if you're walking on the cart path afterwards. I personally don't care either, but there are some people out there who will lose their mind over stupid stuff.
And those people are assholes. Just mind your business. It'd be different if there was damage being done to the property, which I understand. You know, nobody wants property damage. But if it's just a guy fishing or if it's just somebody walking down the street, Trayvon Martin, mind your business. Why are you bothering people?
Mary says, because when damage is done, I am paying for the repairs. I am on our HOA.
Well, I tell you this, Mary, as much as I love you, I'm telling you now, if I was at your HOA meeting, you'd be catching hell every single chance I got.
No, Danielle. Oh, Mary. Yeah, you and Mary, if you guys were neighbors. Danielle says our weird is sound right now. Both is weird. But anyone else hearing the same thing? Our sound is weird. And Facebook user says HOA is trash. A racket is all it is, and they all need to be brought up on racketeering charges. I bet you that's Robert.
That's Slim.
That's Slim. Slim, anybody listen to your old ass over here? Racketeering charges.
It is a racket.
It's not a racket. It's
definitely a racket, man. You got to pay for other people's shit. Why? Why am I paying for this pond?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm going to tell you why I like the HOAs. Because when you see some of the other neighborhoods, and I'm talking about just in the Metro Phoenix area, that do not have HOAs, grass is not cut, weeds all over the place. You can have a nice house in the neighborhood of Phoenix, and the rest of the neighborhood. When we were house shopping, went into a house, very lovely home, 2 doors down. My man had his car parked on the lawn. All right.
So what?
There's not so what.
So what? Who's that hurting? It's not hurting nobody.
I don't want to see that.
Then don't look. Mind
No,
your
no,
motherfucking
no,
business.
no. I didn't buy the house. I didn't buy the house. Weeds, overgrown grass. Come on, man.
Look, man. If it's your property, it's one thing. If it's not, mind your business.
Oh,
As
so
long
I
as your
should.
house is, as long as your house is clean and it looks the way you want it to,
I
and
don't think
he ain't affecting.
that's not the way neighborhoods work, bro. Everyone needs to take care of this shit.
And if he owns the house, he can have it look however he wants to. That's his shit. Why does some dude who lives 3 doors down get to tell me what my house look like? Mind your motherfucking business.
He don't have to worry about it. That's why he lives where he lives, so no one can tell him anything, which is great. Fantastic.
That's what I'm saying.
Fantastic.
All places should be like that.
No, I don't think so. Facebook user says be OCD in your own house. Is that Slim again?
Nah, that's Roxy.
Roxy, I'm sorry, are you against HOAs, Roxy? I'm surprised by that. If she is.
They're stupid.
Facebook user says because that's gross, Deon. Weeds, broke down cars, you fucking up my property value. Who said that?
Dana. And
thank you, Dana.
That's dumb. So you telling me that weeds cost more than regular grass? Make that make sense.
Get out of here. Look.
The property costs what the property costs.
No, that is not how property works.
There's a difference between the structure and what's outside.
That's not how property works, Deon.
And I'm telling you, that's another racket that they put
whatever.
on our heads. It's ridiculous.
Dana, I'm sorry.
This is stupid. It's dumb.
If Deon would stop talking for a second, I want to give Dana her applause break she's earned. Thank you, Dana, for coming to the bright side. Aaliyah says, Deon, the president of mine, your fucking business.
Yeah, damn right. Mind your business. What's
Deon
happening in my house ain't got nothing to do with what's going on in your house.
I don't care what's going on in your house. We're talking about outside of your home.
Okay, what's happening outside my house on my property is my motherfucking business and not your concern. And if you want to call the city and say, hey, this guy's got cars outside. This is unsightly. Fuck you. They ain't hurting nobody. They ain't hurting nobody.
They are hurting me.
No, they're not.
And property value.
No, they're not.
That's another. They are.
Property value is a scam. They do it all the time.
You call it whatever you want.
You can charge whatever you want for the materials cost what the materials cost.
Oh my God. You do not, you don't charge whatever you want. When you go look at a house, they comp that house out to the other houses. If I want to sell my house for $1 million right now, and all the other houses are selling for $600,000, I can't. No one's buying my house for $1 million. That's how property value work.
Boo fucking who. Your house ain't worth $1 million if it's worth $600,000. That's the point. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I just got done saying to you.
And if you're trying, well, why are you trying to upsell people then?
What are you talking about? You're telling me property values don't matter. I'm trying to explain to you that it does.
And I'm telling you, the materials for the building of your house is what the house costs. And
that is not what it costs.
Let me finish. Don't interrupt me. This whole idea.
Say something right, then, and I won't have to.
Shut the fuck up and let
me. Shut the fuck up. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All this shit is made up. Fucking home equities. Fuck, all that shit is made.
Oh my God.
They literally.
You and this bullshit again.
It's made up.
All right. Let me go back to
It's all made up stuff.
Let me go back to the folks here.
We have all bought into it.
Whatever. Michelle says, I don't want to buy a house for $250K and have its value go down because someone else doesn't keep their property up. When comes time to sell, I want my money back. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Michelle seems to get it.
Don't get me wrong. I understand why you want to make money on your house. What I'm saying is the house itself is worth what it's worth. It doesn't go up or down. The fact that your neighbor's house looks shitty or nice affecting your house is stupid to me. And the idea that we've all agreed, well, since my neighbor's house looks like crap, all our houses aren't worth as much, is fucking retarded. That's dumb. It's one shitty house on the block.
One shitty house begets another shitty house begets another shitty house.
Because
it's not just one.
If that was the case, one good house would beget another good house.
It does when you have an HOA.
It doesn't.
It does, actually. It does.
It doesn't.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why.
Absolutely doesn't.
Because the easy thing is to not keep your house up. The harder thing to do is to keep your house up. So you're more likely to have people who are more than happy to throw their hands up and not have to do anything because this dude does it, this dude does it, this dude does it. This dude doesn't. So yes, one shitty house begets another shitty house. Then you know what else it begets? It begets shitty ass neighbors moving in and buying a house, and you got more shitty ass fucking houses and yards.
Well, depending on what you define as shitty, okay? Because in my eyes, it's shitty that you're trying to keep up with the Joneses to keep your property value. Like, yeah, y'all need to grow up. That's so fucking childish. Well, they got a nice yard. I gotta have a nice yard. You got a steeple. I gotta have a steeple. Like, at what point does it end where y'all all just mind your own motherfucking business and let your house be worth what you paid for it? Point
First of
blank,
all,
period.
first of all, no one buys a house so it can stay the same value.
Obviously not. The
All right.
reason why you buy property is so you can get what do they call it? What's it called? When you buy up a bunch of properties and you become a real estate owner and everybody wants the equity to because that's how you build wealth in this country, because everybody knows working for the man ain't gonna get you paid, right? I get that. I understand that. What I'm saying is why the reason why we have all accepted this to be a thing in this capitalist society when it's stupid if you really break it down and look at it. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb.
I'm gonna keep an eye on you as you get older because I'm really worried you're gonna be on the corner with fucking paper flyers, standing on a box, just spouting nonsense. I got to come by and scoop your ass up, feed you some oatmeal, send your ass back out there that you get a good night's sleep.
Now, it's a conspiracy that they have tricked y'all all into believing.
Let's go back to the comments. For the most part, HOAs are a power trip. My sister lives in a nightmare HOA. I used to do eviction defense, so no, not necessarily pro HOA. Gotcha. I got you.
Thanks, Roxy.
I'm all about the HOAs. And that's not saying every HOA is great. I've heard some horror stories too, Roxy, but I'd rather be in one than not, especially if I get one priced at the right amount. There's some HOAs out there, they charge out the ass, and you get almost nothing for it. So there are some situations out there. I'm like, what are you paying for exactly? There's some people out there paying $500-600 a month on top of their mortgage. Mary Battle says property values are directly affected by the looks of the homes in the area around them. Facebook
According to who? According to who?
Facebook user says minding your
The
business
bank?
is free, Sidney.
That was Roxy.
I see that. Facebook user says people with money don't buy houses if your neighbor's gross. That's the point.
That was Dana.
Sure don't.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is the bank deems what property is valuable. I mean, look at gentrification. They take the jobs out of the community, that lowers the property value, then they move in, clean it up, and now all of a sudden it's worth more. It's the same block. It's the same block.
Hey guys, while Deon is still spotting nonsense, I'm gonna throw this in. So I have a question I want to ask you guys. So don't leave the show. I want to ask it at the end of the show, and I want to get a quick response, especially from the ladies. So please stay with us. Facebook user says, guys, take a sip of Everclear. No, no Everclear on this show. You think we fight now? Mary says, made up or not, we have to live with the perceived facts. Agreed. Crystal says, your property value will go down if the one is unkept.
Which is stupid. Can we all agree that's dumb?
No. Roxy says, I'm SoCal, and HOA is a drawback when looking to sell sometimes.
Let me ask you.
Especially with the way, I imagine, Roxy, because of the prices of your homes, I would imagine. Correct me if I'm wrong. Go ahead, bro.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You got a nice house, right? Say, let's give a nice round. Your house is worth $2 million, right? Your house, right? And you want to sell your house for $2.5 million, right? People come in, they look at your house, they see that it's well kept, it's nice, right? And then somebody 6 houses down from you, house looks like shit, right? The people who go into your house and say, ooh, I like this house, but that house 6 houses down is going to keep me from moving into the perfect house for me and my family. Like, why are we okay with that? Why are we as a group okay with that being like, no, this house is nice. Do you want this house?
Because when you
move into a neighborhood where you don't mind your motherfucking business and you cause a bunch of shitty problems you see how the fucking snowball turns into an avalanche because you can't mind your motherfucking business. And that's my whole point. That ain't got nothing to do with you and your dreams and your house. Right. Your house is worth $2 million, point blank, period. It ain't got nothing to do with the house down the street.
like a lot of things, we're not going to agree with this. Maybe this would be our bonus episode for the Patreon. Maybe we'll talk about this and some other things, and let the Patreon people decide. If you want to be a part of the Patreon,
I
boom,
know what
it's
you're
scrolling
doing.
at the
It's
bottom.
going to be you and Mary jumping me. I see. I know you. I know.
Well, Mary gets the conversation, and so she wants to talk about it because Mary gets to, because she's in that tier, gets to come on and just ask us questions. So if Mary wants to ask you, why do you have such a foolish idea on HOAs? That's her business. You just got to respond to it. That's just what it is. I mean, it's in that.
I mean, I think I've explained it pretty clearly. They're just a way to scam people. They don't really do anything. What power do
It
they really
depends
have?
on the HOA. That's what I'm saying. There's some out there that don't do jack shit, and they're paying you or charging you out the ass. And then there are some that are more reasonable, and they're taking care of things and taking care of the neighborhood and cutting the grass and all those different things and making sure other people take care of their shit as well. Just depends. All right. So let's go move on here.
That was a giant eye roll. From
Yeah, no one
podcast
cares.
listeners.
All right, so this is not my question. I'm gonna ask you guys at the end, but this is our other topic. If you guys are still with us, Bruce included. I don't think I've seen Bruce pop anything up in a while, but should Trump's trial in Florida that Jack Smith, the special prosecutor, bringing against him, should it be televised on television? And there's been some conversation about them bringing the cameras in, allowing it to be on full display, much like the OJ trial. And I think everyone on the show here remembers the OJ trial, much like how that trial was done back in the 90s. Do we think they should do the same thing for Trump? And if we do, yes or no, why? Crystal, I see you saying nope. I would love to know why you say nope. Roxy, I see I'll go back to your property value here in a second. But let's go to this. Deon, your thoughts?
Absolutely, it should be televised. He was a former president, one of the most famous people on the planet. Absolutely, it should be televised. We all need to be able to watch and listen to hear from the horse's mouth his defense. We should be able to watch him in court squirm when the evidence that they present against him and he has to defend himself and he can't do that because deep down in his heart he knows he's been lying this whole motherfucking time. We should be able to watch the witnesses get grilled by the defense and the prosecution. Absolutely. All of it should be on television because not only is this the most historic thing that's happened in this country to a former president or any president for that matter, but in the context of moving forward, like if you do these things, you should be held accountable or found not guilty. If they find him not to be guilty, then he gets to stand up there and be like, nah, 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 boo, boo, I told you I didn't do this, da, 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 and that's the end of it. So whoever's right or wrong, should be on TV so the other side can eat crow or laugh in that person's face.
Crystal says, and Bruce is still with us. Thanks for staying, bro. Crystal says, nope. Danielle Marie says the short answer is yes. Lee Jones says he's been televised on CNN, LMAO. And Crystal says, because he wants the cameras, you got to deprive him of that attention. Lee says, absolutely all information, facts, perjuries, etc. needs to be viewed by Trump supporters and non-supporters alike. And I'm going to agree with Deon and Aaliyah. And the major one is been said by Aaliyah and been said by Deon. We need everyone to know what is actually happening in there. We need to take that little tool that he uses for everything, especially when it comes to these trials, that allows for him to come out and say whatever he is that he wants to say and make up what was said inside those four walls. We need that. If there's never been a person who has been in the public eye of this country before who would tell more lies, who would try to sway people in his direction by saying whatever he has to say, whatever half truths, I've never seen it more than Donald Trump will. So we need everything on full display. Now, I'm no fool. I do believe that Donald Trump could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue, as he said a few years back, and he would still have Trump supporters who would try to put him back into office. But we need to kick this up another notch and put cameras in there so we can see everything. We need to do it.
I think the bigger important issue is beyond just Trump himself. It's to kind of dismantle this cult that he's creating. If you put it on television, you can fact check people in real time, and there's no, well, QAnon said this, or my uncle told me. Like, it's all on TV. Every major news station is going to cover it, so you can't say it's fake news. You're going to have your Newsmaxes and your right wing blazes and all those other people. They're going to be there covering it too. So there won't be any, this media bias bullshit that they love to tell you that, it's the right wing media or it's the left wing media or so on and so forth. We put this on trial. We get to see exactly how the criminal justice system is supposed to work. Because if they have the evidence of this man doing crime, I don't care if he's the president, I don't care if he's a janitor. You're all supposed to be accountable under the law. And if he broke the law, absolutely. Because of the fact that he's one of the most polarizing people on the planet and one of the most popular people on the planet, is even more of a reason why it should be televised. Because people want to know the truth. I'm sure there are people on Trump's behalf who want him to go into that courtroom and prove that he's innocent. And at the end of the day, if that happens, that they can be like, see, all this shit has been a witch hunt. Like, that's important. Whether it happens or not, absolutely. That's important.
Lee Jones, going back to what Lee said he has been televised on CNN LMAO. And Lee, that's a great example you gave, because I'm thinking back to CNN where they allowed him to come on and just say whatever he wanted to say, and no one fact checked him in real time. I want the fact checking in real time, and I want it done by all three major networks, MSNBC, Fox News, and CNN. I want everyone to have their shot at real fact checking the same way they do when they do these presidential debates. They go back and they fact check and they talk about that afterwards. I want the same thing done, because I want some real pushback, and I want the world to see the pushback. I do not like this man. I do not care for this man. I left my political party because of this man. I personally want to see this man embarrassed. As much as this dismays Deon, as a veteran, as someone who was in the intel community at one point in time, I am a fan of a lot of things about this country when it comes to the military and the intel community. So I want this man put on full display with his pants down in front of everyone to see, God and country.
I don't have a problem with that. For me, the only reason I want it televised is because of what you said about the fact checking in real time. If it's televised, there will be no excuse of, I didn't read the transcript, or everybody's got the trial. Everybody's going to cover it. CBS, ABC, CNN, the MSNBC, Fox. Everybody's going to cover it if it's televised. So there will be no excuse of, I didn't see, or I didn't hear, or I didn't know. If you choose to be ignorant of it, then when you go on to have a conversation later on, it's be like, well, you got all the facts here. You could have watched it. It was on regular TV. It was on cable. It'll be on Twitter or X or whatever. I'm not calling it that. It's always going to be Twitter. Until it closes and it actually rebrands itself as something else, it's going to be Twitter. But it's going to be on everything. So at the end of the day, there won't be people who can say, well, I didn't see it or I didn't know. Because to me, the ignorance defense is what's really frustrating about all of this. Yeah. The evidence is clear as day that he knew he was lying. The people, not Giuliani's admitted that it was some bullshit. Ivanka admitted it was some bullshit. Kushner admitted it was some bullshit. Bill Barr admitted it was some bullshit. They all admitted that it was bullshit. Okay, well, they knew what they were doing.
And now he's got this janitor down in Florida tied up to it, tied into it now.
You got, six other co-conspirators who helped delete footage of him moving these boxes around. And to me, it's one of those things. It's eerily similar of the avarice of the pontoon boat owner. It's like, just give them back their documents. They're not yours. You can't have them. They asked you nicely. And now you done created all this other shit. Now you got indicted over not wanting to give back something that didn't belong to you. The parking space didn't belong to you. Just move your fucking boat. Those documents aren't yours. Give them back.
And let's be completely honest. If the man had never been in the White House as a president, he'd already be somewhere in a jumpsuit. Aaliyah Craig says absolutely all information, facts, perjuries, etc. needs to be viewed by Trump supporters and non-supporters alike. Agreed. Facebook user says it should definitely be televised. Let him burn and the hillbillies rise up or not. Small towns and all. There's got to be Roxy again.
No, that was Dana.
Dana gave this. That's right. Dana gave the hillbilly comment earlier. But there's no way for him to lie in court, essentially. Oh, they're going to be on his ass. They're going to be on his ass. Bruce says it should be televised so we don't get one-sided views. Crystal says also other lawyers can see different angles on how to help him. So she thinks it should not be televised. I think that's the reason what she's saying. And she says she's tired of seeing him, honestly. We all are, Crystal. We all are. But the Republican Party can't seem to get their shit together to find anybody else.
The Republican Party is dead. And they literally let Trump kill them. They let him do that. Because none of them stood up to him. Rubio, Cruz.
No, you're right. And they still defend him.
I mean, they're so weak in their own voter base that a guy who's facing 74 counts, federal counts, is leading their party. I mean, that should speak volumes to the level that they have sunk to. From just, what was it, 2000, from 2000 with George Bush.
Yeah.
To now. 23 years, just like that.
Facebook user says this issue will be unprecedented. I would be concerned about some of the evidence and if they can properly discuss it without compromising national security more than he has already. I also understand needing transparency. I honestly don't think it will make a difference for his supporters. I don't think it'll make a difference for the Roxy. Yeah, I thought so. I don't think it'll make a real difference with his core supporters either, Roxy. But I am going to make an assumption here, which I don't normally like to do. If they decide to let cameras in, I'm sure they've already figured out discussing some whatever compromising evidence that they're going to have to present. The Intel case we shouldn't be able to watch only because of classified information. Maybe the other cases, Crystal says. And Facebook user says, I think he would lie under oath. He's absolutely going to lie under oath, and I want to be there for it. Which is
all the more reason why I want it televised, because then we can come back and get him on perjury. I mean, you can't tell me he didn't do election tampering down in Georgia. He called the man on the phone and said, hey, man, find me 11,780 votes. I just need 11,780 votes. What are you calling that man for? The votes have already been counted.
Absolutely.
So this is a slam dunk case. He did it. We know he did it. Why are we sitting here arguing about, well, you got to prove beyond a reasonable doubt? A reasonable doubt? A reasonable doubt. Would it be reasonable to say that he knew he lost the election months before the election even happened? Which is why he was peddling the fact that if I don't win, it's rigged.
Yeah. I think most of us, except for Crystal, maybe Roxy, I think the rest of us are kind of on the same train here. We want it to be open. We want cameras in there. Not to say Roxy and Crystal are wrong, though. So we'll have to sit and wait and see. I don't think they're going to let it happen. I want it to happen, but I don't think they're going to let it happen for whatever reasons. Before we go to our last segment here, I'll wait one more thing, which I am not going to do because I'm going to take my time and ask this question. So I'm going to go first and ask this question so you guys can answer it while Deon is closing out, because I want to see what you guys think about this. I found this just before the show started tonight, so I didn't really get a chance to put it on the list of things to talk about. So on IG, I'll put it up there for people to see. Devoted wife continues to care for her husband after traumatic brain injury, and so does her new husband. So there's a picture of her with her husband, and this is her with the new husband, him feeding the first husband. I take exception, like a lot of people did in this thread, the word devoted. All right? So what do you guys think about a woman who was married to a man, divorces man to marry another man, and between the two of them and the rest of the family, and I'll show this too, the family picture here of all of them together, are taking care of the first husband. Is that a devoted wife? Or is this a woman who did not want to be with this man any longer, but did not have enough of a guilty conscience to handle her guilty conscience? Aaliyah, damn it, Aaliyah. Let me just get through my shit, Aaliyah. What do you guys think? And then I'll come back and read those after Deon. Deon, don't look at him. You're going to fuck up your weight. One more thing. Go ahead.
I gotta address that because I'm the opposite of you. I think she is devoted. I think she is. She didn't leave him. She's
Okay.
taking care of him. I
Okay.
mean, not everybody views things exactly the same way, right? Some people believe that you can love more than one person at a time. Clearly, their relationship is working. The second husband has no problem attending to the needs of the first husband, and it's rare that you find an individual who's okay with that. If it's working for them, who am I to be like use you Bobo the clown? Because in all honesty, I would hope that if something were to happen to you, Sydney, right, and that Tamara was like, "Yo, Sydney, I love you, but you can't fulfill all my needs anymore. I'm gonna go out and get a new man." I would hope that instead of you being like, "Bitch, I'm gonna burn this whole bitch down," once my legs start working, you'd be like, "You know what? I will allow that as long as y'all take care of me." I would hope that you would have that love in your heart. So, shout out to her. Good kudos on her for taking care of him and getting a new man. It takes a strong woman to do that. And lady, if you're listening to this podcast, don't let these motherfuckers who about to come on here and judge you with their comments because I can read this shit. Good on you. Don't listen to the haters. Now,
First of all, I like Crystal's eye, the bulging eyeballs. Like, then Leah Craig says, "That's so sweet, but it won't be me." Leah, are you saying it wouldn't be you, like you would be taking care of him, or you wouldn't divorce him, marry another dude, and still take care of the first husband? Danielle says, "I don't know how I think. I see both sides of it. Spoken like a person who would leave that dude on the curb." Danielle. Good riddance. Crystal says, "That's nice for them, LOL." Michelle Martin says, "That's a devoted second husband." And Michelle Lachelle says, "Nope, it's for better or worse between you and your husband." Facebook user asked me, "Have you ever taken care of someone with traumatic brain injury?" And I imagine is that the same person all three?
That's
Yeah.
Dana. Dana said that.
Is she also saying she could have kicked him to the curb, wheelchair and all, like most men do women in similar circumstances, but she didn't?
I don't see that comment.
Okay. And then I see she is definitely devoted. So I'm assuming these sound like they're all from the same person, all from Dana. So I'll answer this. Dana, no, I have not taken care of someone with traumatic brain injury. Your second point, she could have kicked him to the curb, wheelchair and all, like most men do women in similar circumstances, but she didn't. Dana, we're not speaking about what men do to women. We're not even speaking about what other women do to men. I love when y'all throw that on the table like y'all are not dirtbags. Y'all have vaginas. Y'all are different because you have vaginas, but y'all are straight dirtbags too. So there's plenty of women who throw men to the curb. Don't get me going. The show's almost over. She's definitely devoted. She is not devoted. Bruce Bolger says, "It all depends on circumstances. Did he tell her to be happy and get remarried? Do new man had to sign off?" Bruce, fuck you. I know you too well. There's no way your ass could show up like this. And Heather must be close by, so you want to get laid tonight. Don't even try it. Mary says, "If that works for them, have at it. We don't know all of their circumstances." Mary, what more do you need to see, Mary? You women are killing me. I am so disappointed in you guys tonight. Facebook user says he could be sitting in a nursing home alone. Oh, okay.
That's Roxy.
You guys are killing me. Bruce says if he did tell her to do it, then stay faithful in your marriage unlike someone else I knew. Yeah. Elise says I'll help pay for his hospice. When my ex was dying, I had a permanent hall pass. Roxy had the middle comment. All right. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Crystal says, "I would take care of my husband and be by his side. No other man included to death do us part." Leah said he probably still thinks they're married. You are an awful person. You're awful. You're awful. I'm not going to hell with you. Crystal, LOL. Crystal, you're going to hell. Don't LOL that shit. And Facebook user says, "Aaliyah Craig, I laughed too hard at that." All right. I'm completely against this. Absolutely against this. Better or worse. And I can tell you right now, without my wife being in here, she would say the same damn thing. There's no way she could be sitting there and my new wife, who will be sitting there feeding her porridge at the diner and taking care of her. Absolutely not. But no, I do. I think the use of the word devoted is misplaced here. Should not be used here. You guys had some great comments. But one of the things I love about this show and why I named it not as debatable, we don't always agree, but I still love you guys.
Yeah, because you dead wrong on this one. Find love wherever you can and keep it.
Michelle says, what? Michelle says, my mom took care of my dad for 20 years after he had a major stroke. Danielle says, I have a huge crush on Aaliyah right now. All right, and on that note, the show is over. You guys have been awesome. I love all of you guys. Have an absolutely great week. You guys were a blast tonight. Absolute blast. I'm glad we talked about this. So many of you are, I don't want any of you helping me cross the street. You guys are just dirtbags. You guys have a good week, Deon.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Tell all your friends about Now Let's Debate. We'll get more people so we can have even better debates each and every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Absolutely. And don't forget to click that share button one more time. Thanks, guys. All right.
Have a good week.
How do I turn this off? Yeah. I can't turn it off. Same thing again.